Guys, welcome back to another Snakes in the Grass. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that I'm very interested in, and I'm a bit late to, but it is what it is. I'm glad I'm able to actually talk about this now. So this topic is obviously the stuff that was announced for Halo, and those of you who've been with the channel for a while may know that Halo is one of the franchises that I like a lot and really love in terms of gameplay, in terms of memories and all that kind of stuff. Halo is one of those franchises that is up there for me. So I really want to talk about the future of this franchise and what really was announced. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, it's going to be a kind of short video because just to get this out of the way, but first thing I wanted to talk about is the rebranding of 343 to Halo Studios, which I feel like it was very important for them to do this, because regardless of what we thought of Halo 4, Halo 5, or even Halo Infinite, I enjoyed Halo Infinite. I acknowledge that a lot of people have issues with it in terms of the way the live service was handled at the beginning, the way how Forge was missing, the way how campaign co-op was missing, how all this kind of stuff happened with it. And I feel like the campaign for Halo Infinite was well received, even though there is a few issues with it that, you know, I hope to see, even I would hope to see rectified. I really enjoyed the campaign. At some point, by the way, I would like to review all the Halos in a kind of a Twittery Classics series, so leave a like on the video, comment if you guys would like to see me go through all the reviews in that kind of way that I handled Fallout 3, talking about all this kind of stuff. I feel like it's very important for them to be able to rebrand, because at this point, name of like 343 Industries has really been immensely tarnished by all the kind of stuff that's been going on around it. The amount of stuff that, such as like the directors for Halo Infinite, how many times it like switched directors and staff got moved around. The kind of stuff that happened with Halo 5, the broken, like the marketing that happened with Halo 5, and how people thought it was going to be something, but then it just turned out to be something completely different. Halo 4, I feel like it was the people really didn't like the multiplayer. I feel like the campaign was relatively well received, but I feel like right now they really have this chance to kind of, and even Pierre, the new studio head of Halo Studios, even he kind of said it was like it was the Bungie era, and then there was the 343 era, and then this new Halo Studios era really has a chance to kind of have this new light around it. And maybe if they stuck to the name 343 Industries, they wouldn't be able to really claim the same thing. Let's think of 343 and like just the way people thought about the studio. I feel like the general perception would change. Obviously they have to put in the work, they have to make really good games fundamentally, right? That's the change that and universally loved games is what they really have to make, which is very difficult in this day and age. I acknowledge that, but it's just the way it is. Unfortunately, they have to go this route of, this is a universal franchise, this is a franchise that is really the icon of Xbox. Many people might think, okay, Gears or Forza. The way I see Xbox is, there is no Xbox without Halo, fundamentally, right? Gears, Gears fans, there's a lot of you out there. Congratulations for E-Day, I hope it's going to be a great game, but fundamentally, I feel like the soul of Xbox is the soul of Halo. I might be hyperbolic or that kind of stuff, but I'm trying to say, it's unscripted. Also, I like the statement that essentially they've made now, with changing the name from 343 Industries to Halo Studios. They've made a huge statement by doing that now. Essentially what they've said now is that, because if you guys look back and remember, there was a bunch of people after Halo Infinite, they're like, okay, 343, they could do something else. Even though, let's be honest, right, 343, just them having that name should already tell them that it's Halo Studio for life, or Halo Studio. If there is no Halo, or there's no focus on Halo or something like that, then there's no 343, or there's no Halo Studios. 343 literally, you guys, I'm sorry, but yeah, 343 Industries should have already told you that it was a Halo Studio, because 343 Guilty Spark was a little guy in the original Halo trilogy who was that, I forgot what they're called, but like they're the little things that take care of the Halo rings and monitor them, and all that kind of stuff. I forgot their names from the lore, sorry, I'm not too big into the lore of Halo, but I know it goes really deep. But now it's explicitly Halo Studios. You cannot claim that the studio can do anything else. This is the Halo studio. If you want to go work on Halo, work at 343, or work at Halo Studios is the only way to guarantee that. Those other studio might work on it. There might be some partnerships, but foundationally, you're gonna want to go work there. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to talk about the news. Second thing is that I've switched from Slipspace Engine to Unreal Engine. Like, this is a very, very important change, because those of you who might have seen what was happening at 343, how the structure of the studio didn't fit the structure of the engine, and how the studio was being run, it really impeded them in what they were able to do and was a huge waste of resources. So essentially, Slipspace, I believe, is a continuation or is a iteration of, I think it's the Blam engine. I'll prop up the name. I think it's the Blam engine, which was the powered all the way from from the original Combat Evolved all the way until, I believe now, until succeeded by Slipspace. Now, Slipspace was only active for Infinite, but essentially what the issue with using Slipspace and all this kind of stuff is that, and what I really mean by the studio structure and the engine really didn't fit, was you have the studio, which is a studio that is reliant on a lot on contractors and people who are not going to be there for a long time permanently, and temporary workers going ahead and working on the game. But then you have a bespoke engine, or like a specialized engine for the studio. This really isn't that common, or this really isn't too intelligent of a strategy, because as was pointed out, by this happening, by this system being put in place, let's say someone there is working there for 3 to 6 months. Let's say in the 4th month they really, or like, let's say it takes a while for them to get accustomed. It might take them 3 months to get fully accustomed to the engine. Let's just say that, right? It could be less, could be more. But they only have a very short amount of time to really work with that engine, in comparison to using an engine that's already really out there and really known, and engine like Unreal Engine 5, which they might have done in college, they might have done in university, they might have played with in other work environments, instead of using a bespoke engine. I'm not saying that bespoke engines don't have a place in the industry, of course not. That's stupid for anyone to say. But I'm saying the structure of the studio, if they wanted to have that engine, they wanted to have a bespoke engine, they should really have a more permanent structure, and I'm not sure if it really changed in that way. What I will say is that, before I talk about my worries for Unreal Engine 5, what issues it could pose, I want to talk about, because they had this whole thing where they had this Project Foundry, they went in the video what it's about. Okay, so we went ahead and wanted to experiment, really play around with what we could do in Unreal Engine 5, and they really showed these beautiful Halo locations that really, like, as a fan, like, I got hyped up just seeing them, bro. That iconic CE Infinite type of location at first, that's just like, we've seen this type of location, I think it's called the second mission, I forgot what the name of the mission's called in Combat Evolved. It really reminded me of that type of area, right? Then they had like a snowy type of area where you could really see the ice and all this kind of stuff, and the layering of, you know, what is really possible with the detail. It looks just like old snow, right? As they said in the video, it looks like it's snow, all of it, and, you know, it could be easy to do, but really pull back the layers, you can really see, okay, there's snow, and then there's some ice, and then the cracks in the ice, and all the crackling, and you see the little tower they have, and then you see the Banshee going through the area. And then the last location really was like, at this point, you know, the first two you could say, okay, these were all right looking, you know, they look good, fundamentally, like graphically, and they have that Halo style. But the third location really looked amazing, with the flood infected planet, or like the plague lands, I believe they called them. That, like, seeing the flood and what could be done with the flood as an entity, we haven't seen them since Halo 3, I think, really. No. I believe in Halo Wars 2 there was an expansion about them, and we obviously had some armor in Halo Infinite. I'm not sure we've really seen or interacted with the flood directly in a really long time. But that's really like a core of Halo that has been missing. This gruesome, grotesque, bubbly, fleshy land mass with, like, you can see the little oscillations, or whatever you want to call it, like the twitching, glowing flesh. That stuff was really good looking. Now I'm going to talk about a bit of the issues that might be presented by Unreal Engine 5. Okay, so my issue with Unreal Engine 5 really is that, you know, throughout the years we've really seen a lot of games that utilize the Unreal Engine 5 really not be up to par in terms of performance and all this kind of, even graphically at scale. If you look graphically at the games that are coming out Unreal Engine 5, they're not worth the graphic the graphical improvement, it's not worth the performance detriment or performance loss that's really been displayed by these games. Maybe it's developers not being good, maybe it's the engine just was new. Hopefully, I've heard that versions of Unreal Engine 5 are getting better at this, so we just have to see how Halo Studios utilizes UE5 and how they really improve on the, instead of just utilizing slip space. But anyway, that's enough for talking about UE5. Another aspect that they talked about that this is the part of the video I want to talk about. They talked about the different stuff that they could do in terms of them working on multiple projects. Now this is a very exciting aspect because I feel like Halo, as I said, Halo is the flagship in my opinion. Just like how Mario and how Zelda and all this kind of stuff for Nintendo and has appeared in a bunch of different genres and spin-offs. I feel like Halo should be that for Xbox. So I feel like there should be more types of Halo Wars games, if you know what I mean. They're going into different genres. There should be survival horror type Halos. There should be the normal versions of Halos. There should be different aspects because I feel like they really have missed out on that kind of stuff in the past. So spin-offs, in terms of what we can actually see, one rumor that was floating about a few months ago, we saw really picked up was the idea of a remake of Halo CE. Now the footage that they showed of the game they were making, or like the Project Foundry little project they were doing, showed Master Chief in his Mark V Mjolnir from Halo CE. I think it's Mark V, give me if I'm wrong. So that is very interesting. So I want to see how they really go ahead, and because that seems to kind of lean towards that there is a Halo CE remake in progress, and I really want to see how they handle the flood, because I really want to see what they could really do with that, because that would be interesting to see. I don't want it to be a reboot, okay? That's one thing that I've been seeing around. One aspect that I really want to see is ODSTs. We saw Halo 3 ODST, and that was a really good game. Halo 3 ODST I think is one of my favorite campaigns they've actually made, because I like the smaller scale of it. You're going through New Mombasa, the whole going through the night aesthetic. The power change I feel like could have been a bit better. What I mean by power change, I mean like go from Master Chief to who is the demon, the Spartan Covenant killing machine that they talk about in Legend, right? This is the thing that they're scared of, right? You compare that gameplay, and I really don't think like it was there was a difference, right? But I feel like it would be even more interesting to show an even bigger difference between the Covenant towards something like Master Chief and the Covenant towards just a normal ODST. I feel like they could have done something more there, but talk for another day. We'll actually go ahead and review it one day. If you guys want to see that review, leave it in the comments. Yeah, I feel like they could do a better, I feel like now could really hone in on ODSTs, and who knows, they could even just do, like, imagine just a normal Marine or something like that, or like a UNSC soldier guy. That could be like in like a survival horror type of game. Imagine that against the flood. I feel like that could be really interesting. In terms of the main line, I don't know what they're gonna do with it. I really hope they, at least if they're gonna abandon the story, like whatever storyline they were trying to go for, I guess that's fine, but they have to, in my opinion, the bare minimum is that they need to have the rematch with Chief and Atriox. If they don't have that rematch, that's absolute. Like, after what Atriox did to Master Chief, just completely embarrassing him at the beginning of Halo Infinite, you can't leave Master Chief with that cosmic of an L against the character. You need to sort that out first, and then we can talk about, okay, you want to abandon the story, you want to go in a different direction, that's okay. You need to fix some stuff first, okay? You can't just leave Master Chief out there getting laid out by Atriox and not expect Master Chief to get his get back. Okay, so those are just some ideas, but there's many other ideas that could happen. Who knows, maybe you can have like a Halo RPG type of game. You don't know, you can just throw out ideas. You can have many different ways that Halo can go. You can also license out the IP to other people. That you need to be careful of them, but you need to like to trusted studios. But yeah, that could be very interesting. But yeah, that's it for this Snakes in the Grass. Hopefully I'll be back with another review soon. Next, we'll see what happens with it. If you want to check out the streams that I do, right now playing for Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know what we're going to do after that. In chapter 4, really enjoying the game, but I'm thinking of doing a horror game next. Dead Space, Resident Evil, Alien Isolation. It's that time of the year. I feel like I want to scare myself half to death. So we'll see what I do. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, see you next time.